What's up, fuckers, and welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. In today's video, we are going to be rebuilding the Utah Jazz, arguably the worst team in the NBA right now. Made a huge trade this offseason, actually multiple huge trades this offseason. Traded away their best two players, sent Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs, Rudy Gobert to the Minnesota Timberwolves. We have a three-season rebuild today, obviously with the goal of, getting them a championship. This is another franchise that has never won an NBA title, so it'd be really cool if we could get them their first one today. Obviously, we do have some nice young pieces here. I think that's probably what we're going to be maybe building upon for these 3 years, but we're also going to have a lot of money to spend in free agency. We have a whole lot of draft picks, a ton of trades to make, and I'm super excited for this one today. After this video, we're probably going to go back to doing some historic rebuilds. I know you guys really enjoy those, so let me know which ones you want to see down below in the comments section. Of course, if you guys are new around here, have not yet subscribed, we'd greatly enjoy if you could join the community. And that about wraps up this intro, man. The Jazz are pretty much hot ass right now, so let's see if we can turn some things around. Let's talk about this roster a little bit. In all of its glory. It's obviously one of the worst rosters in the entirety of the NBA. They're most likely going to be in the conversation for the #1 overall draft pick. And I think that's a good thing. I think it was finally time for Utah to kind of blow up that core that they did have. It really was never going to win anything, and good job, honestly. Props to Danny Ainge for doing that. So, Mike Conley, somebody I'm definitely going to be looking to move, somebody they should be looking to move in real life. It makes no sense for him to remain on this team age-wise, money-wise. Makes absolutely no sense. Let him go win a ring somewhere. Get him out. That's obviously a big contract, though, so it's a lot easier said than done. Saban Lee was part of the deal with the Detroit Pistons, came over in that Bojan Bogdanovic trade just a couple days ago. We have Jared Butler. I actually started him once Donovan Mitchell actually got traded. I did the rebuild on 2K22. He actually put up some insane numbers. Let's see if we can do it again today. We have Colin Sexton, probably the main focal point of the deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell. Colin Sexton came over. Funny enough, he signed an extension, 2K, just for some reason, because they're lazy as shit. Didn't give him it on here. Interesting. Jordan Clarkson, another piece that I'm probably going to move. Very similar to Mike Conley. Makes absolutely no sense to keep him on this roster. Just an expiring contract. Achai Agbaje, who was in the Cavs organization, I think, for about 25 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But he came over. The Cavs obviously drafted him. He's now a part of the Utah Jazz. We're going to see if we can build around him a little bit as well. We got Jared Vanderbilt, came over in the deal with the Timberwolves with Rudy Gobert. We have Taylor Horton-Tucker, he's obviously from the Lakers in the Pat Beverly deal. Leandro Palmaro. Lauri Markkanen, another piece of that Cavs deal. So this is a very new-look roster. There's a lot of new pieces here, and I don't really think any of these pieces are really necessarily the longest-term options. But we can see what we can do with a lot of them. We have Rudy Gay, another guy that's probably going to be traded, or that I'll at least probably try to trade before we do start year one. We got Stanley Johnson here. Kelly Olynyk came over in the trade with the Detroit Pistons. Wouldn't be surprised if they bought him out or did something with him. It makes no sense for him to be here. I mean, I guess it does maybe a little bit. I guess you'd maybe have a big that can stretch the floor a little bit, but timeline-wise, it doesn't fit. Azubuike and then Walker Kessler here. Walker Kessler was their first-round pick this past season. So, this is not a realistic rebuild. I want to put that out there. We are going to make some trades, definitely. Let's get into them. We're going to send Mike Conley over to the Brooklyn Nets for Joe Harris in a 2023 pick swap with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this is not going to be that valuable of a pick, but any sort of first-round pick for Mike Conley, I'm 100% going to take it. So, goodbye, Mike. Thank you for all of your service and your years here. Really was never going to work out, and you might be saying you just got Joe Harris. Well, a couple reasons. One, I can just turn around and trade him, and two, he's on a multi-year deal. So I'll have more options after this season as well. Some other pieces are definitely going to be traded, so I'll see you guys with those next moves. Next deal here is going to be coming with the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to send them Jordan Clarkson. We're going to acquire actually another Philadelphia first-round pick. This one in 2025, we're getting Mike Muscala back as well. I have no idea why OKC wants Jordan Clarkson. Doesn't fit their timeline, but a first-round pick is a first-round pick. Let's keep making trades. This next deal is not going to be us getting a first-round pick, but rather a young player that I'm actually pretty high on myself. We're going to be sending Rudy Gay and Kelly Olynyk to the Atlanta Hawks. DeAndre Hunter is going to be coming back. He is an expiring contract on just under $10 million a year, but I like the potential here a lot. If it doesn't work out, it's a really low pay. So, DeAndre Hunter, welcome to the Utah Jazz. That's a really good third trade. We may have one more. We actually may have two more. We're sending Mike Muscala in a second over to the Heat for a 2027 first, and Haywood Highsmith. He's actually a guy that gets thrown in a lot of trades when I do rebuilds with some relatively not so good teams, but I'm thinking we might have one more. Don't hold me to that, though. This actually may be the trade that gets some people upset. You might be saying, why would you trade Taylor Horton-Tucker, who's 21 years old? Definitely fits your timeline. There's a couple reasons why. One, I prefer DeAndre Hunter, who we obviously just acquired from the Atlanta Hawks. Both relatively young players, both expiring contracts. Was definitely not going to pay them both. We're also getting a first-round pick here for THT, and the final reason, to be honest with you, is I'm just not very high on him. I just genuinely don't think he's very good. So definitely was not going to pay him after this year. I've also run into the issue occasionally where I'm not actually even able to re-sign him. Doesn't give me any sort of rights on him to pay him. So I'm going to take the first because we already have a lot of depth at that small forward spot. We're going to set the rotation now. One thing we can all agree on is this is not going to be a very good basketball team. I say that both in real life and here in 2K. I'm setting us up for failure, and I'm doing that obviously intentionally in hopes of having a really high draft pick for the 2023 draft. So here's how it's going to look. It's going to be Jared Butler, Colin Sexton, Jared Vanderbilt, Lauri Markkanen, and I'm going to start Walker Kessler over Udoka Azubuike. I actually like the potential here a little bit more on Walker Kessler, so we're going to see what happens. We're going to give him the nod here, at least for year one. Bench units. DeAndre Hunter is going to be the sixth man. I like that potential a lot. We're going to see if we can maybe fit him in here in a long-term run. I absolutely hate these Jazz uniforms. I've actually given a couple rants about them before, but in my opinion, it looks like an 8-year-old drew them. Ochai Agbaji is going to be getting 7th man minutes at a 73 overall, 18 minutes a night. I like his potential, hoping to develop him quite well. Followed by Saban Lee, Stanley Johnson, and then Udoka Azubuike. It is actually, I'm going to swap these two right here. It is obviously not a great team. That is something that we are not looking forward to this season. But what we are looking forward to, is right here. This is what I'm looking forward to. This is going to be a treasure trove of assets, ton of picks that we're going to be able to trade, hopefully for some massive deals or for some massive draft picks. Let's see what we can hopefully do here at the end of year one. It is a 37-point triple-double for Luka Doncic. He wins the MVP award here at the end of the first season. Nobody's surprised there. Chet Holmgren, Rookie of the Year in Oklahoma City. It's actually not one I see a lot. Typically, it's Paolo Banchero or Jabari Smith Jr. Obviously, Chet's not going to win Rookie of the Year this season. He's not playing this season, but just cool to see. Simmons, 6-man, Bam Adebayo, Depoy, Nashawn Highland, Most Improved, Doc Rivers, head coach of the 76ers, Coach of the Year. So let's see how bad the damage were. How bad were we? Wow, we actually didn't have the worst record here in the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets were 19-63. The Houston Rockets definitely have a better roster than us. I'm actually surprised. But 21 wins, is around where I thought we would be. We do have the second worst record in the league, hopefully giving us a top 3 pick. Let's take a look at the numbers. I'm assuming Colin Sexton probably led us in scoring, and he did. He was around 22.5 points, around 3.5 boards, 3.5 assists. We definitely do need to find some playmaking on this team eventually. Lauri Markkanen, then Jared Butler, Walker Kessler, Ochai Agbaji. Actually pretty good for a rookie season off the bench. DeAndre Hunter, Saban Lee, Azubuike, Jared Vanderbilt, Stanley Johnson, Mo Harkless. Kessler was actually pretty good. I'll take 13 and 7 and almost 2 in his rookie season. It's very good, actually. We were not good. So let's go ahead and simulate the playoffs, get the torture out of the way, and hopefully turn the page to a much better team. Brandon Ingram, Western Conference Finals MVP. Trae Young, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The Atlanta Hawks go on to win the finals, and Trae Young wins Finals MVP as well. So, off-season time. Time for some fun. Time to make some much bigger trades, maybe a signing or two. I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll hit player retirements. I highly doubt that there's anybody here from this team. There's really not. So let's just hit the draft lottery. This is obviously a huge moment of truth for us. This is obviously going to somewhat send. Why do we not? Is our logo that really? Who thought that would be a good idea? You put a white logo on a white background? Good job, 2K developers. Let's sim it. This is obviously a huge moment in this video. And we end up with the number 2 overall pick. So we sit right there at 2, which is absolutely what we need. I will say, although we kind of have a gaping hole at center, we also have a gaping hole at point guard. And I have drafted Victor Wembanyama a lot. So if he doesn't end up going number 1, which he typically doesn't for whatever reason, I'm obviously going to take Scoot Henderson. Scoot Henderson's my guy today. I'm very much in the mood to go ahead and draft him. I don't get him a ton, and we also do have a pretty big gaping hole at the point guard spot. Will Hardy, did he really only sign a 1-year deal with this team? I found that to be kind of weird, but I'm confident in Will Hardy. I wish my Celtics had Will Hardy right now because he definitely would have taken over in Boston for the time being. Where is Will Hardy? I set him up for failure. I'm not just going to let him go now. That's a pretty big contract. But Will Hardy, welcome back to Utah. All right, number 2 overall draft pick. I'm a little nervous to see what the Orlando Magic do with that number 1 overall pick, and they take Victor Wembanyama. So that gives us Scoot Henderson. That's exactly what I wanted. I didn't even see. Do we have any other picks? Oh, we also have 13 from the Nets, 27 from the Timberwolves, and then 29 from the Sixers. Okay, that's actually huge. I think that 13th pick's going to set us up for something nice, hopefully. I'm maybe thinking power forward there. I have a guy in mind, and I actually might try to move up a couple spots there and maybe try to get into like the top 10 again because I think that would probably set us up nice. Let's see who has like a top 10 pick. Like that's a second round pick. Who has like number 7, number 8, number 9, something like that. 7 is the Sacramento Kings. You want to do that deal? How about any players that I'd be willing to maybe throw into this deal? I think I can get something better for Joe Harris. So how about if instead I just give you like a couple... I'll give you a future first in 2027, but that's it. they agree to that. So we now have the number 2 and number 7 overall pick in this draft. Scoot Henderson's obviously my guy here at 2, and then we'll see who's available for us here at number 7. There are probably going to be some pretty decent options. Gregory Jackson is here. He was definitely somebody I was targeting, just because I think this team definitely could use a power forward. Henderson went 2, Nick Smith, Keontae George, Miller, Cason Wallace. Really no surprises there. It's what it comes down to now is kind of position of need for me. I don't necessarily need a shooting guard. Chris Livingston could be a fun pick. Dariq Whitehead also could be a fun pick. Anthony Black, I know, is super high in a lot of mock drafts right now. These aren't really my biggest positions of need. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, draft Gregory Jackson. He's somebody I've drafted before. He actually develops really well. So welcome to Team Gregory. You and Scoot Henderson hopefully going to be 2 really solid rookies for us, 80 and 77 overall, respectively. Team player options. I'm going to bring back Saban Lee, Azubuike, Lander Balmaro can probably go, and everybody else here as well. So we are going to make some trades right now. 2 big free agents here in Colin Sexton and DeAndre Hunter. 2 guys I definitely would like to bring back. Definitely not just going to let them go. Who knows if they're both long-term options. We also have... Oh, yeah. Where was Malik Beasley? I knew I was missing somebody. I just never even saw him on the team. No, I didn't miss him. Was that a weird 2K glitch? I'm going to look back at the tape, obviously. That sounds old. I'm going to look back at the video, obviously, when I'm editing. I don't remember seeing Malik Beasley. Did I just miss him? I have no idea what happened. That's really weird. Because I knew I was missing somebody from the Timberwolves trade, but I genuinely just didn't see Malik Beasley. That's my bad. I apologize for that. It happens, though. All right, well, that's not the way I thought this was going to go. We hypothetically have money for James Harden if we want him. We could have money for Kyrie. Other than that, I might just save the money at this point. I honestly, I really might. Sexton obviously already has an extension, so I will give him an extension. I'm going to look up the exact figure on that, but yeah, shout out to 2K for being lazy. We're bringing back both DeAndre Hunter and Colin Sexton on contract extensions. 2K should have already put in Sexton's, but they didn't, and they are lazy. I will obviously go in and edit it after this at some point in time. But what I'm thinking is right now, maybe I don't want to use the word tank, because I think this team definitely got better, but I'm almost thinking to the point, maybe we have one more kind of bad season, then we kind of go all in for the final year, make some huge signings, some big trades, whatever it may be. That being said, we still might go ahead and make a decent trade or two. And this team definitely did get better. I think there's a world where maybe we move on from Jared Vanderbilt. I think I might go ahead and include him in a deal with Joe Harris. Maybe we just get a full upgrade at that small forward spot. Maybe move on from somebody like Jared Vanderbilt and Joe Harris, get that upgrade there, then have DeAndre Hunter come off the bench. I want to start Gregory Jackson. I'm thinking I'm either just going to trademark it in or have him come off the bench. We'll figure that out. And then the center spot's obviously still really weak. So we're probably going to look for a different option there, strictly based off the fact I know Walker Kessler actually played pretty well, but I just don't think he'll develop enough where I could actually keep him long term, if you know what I'm saying. So we definitely still have a little bit of money here. I mean, if we look at some of these center options, none of them are obviously great. Let's make a trade. So he definitely doesn't progress as well as he used to in 2K, but Michael Porter Jr. is still a really good option. He is on a really, really big contract, but I think the potential is definitely there. He's 25 years old, making $33.5 million. We're going to give up Vanderbilt, Joe Harris, future first from Minnesota, and a future second, and get MPJ. I'm going strictly based off potential here. He can probably contribute to some wins as well. He's going to be my starting small forward. Then we're going to have DeAndre Hunter back him up. So at this point in time, I'm still up in the air on what we're going to do with the power forward. I mean, Larry Marketing is here. We're probably going to start Jackson. And who's going to be our starting center? So I'm thinking we trade Marketing right now. He's an expiring contract. We maybe get an upgrade, maybe on a 1 or 2 year deal. I think we can probably find somebody. No idea if it's even going to be possible to trade for Jared Allen, but he would obviously be a huge upgrade at our starting center spot. We're going to offer up Larry Marketing and Udoka Azubuike, so another potential deal with the Cavs, which would send Larry Marketing back. But I think this would be a deal I would definitely love to do. I'd actually throw in Peyton Watson as well. If you can afford it, they can. And how about some of these picks? Like, I can throw in these later picks that maybe aren't going to affect me as much. I mean, hell, we traded for a ton of draft picks, and this is kind of the exact reason why we did that. And they agree to that. So Jared Allen is officially a member of the Utah Jazz, probably the new best player on this team. Walker Kessler will still back him up. We do need to find a different backup power forward. I'm going to start Gregory Jackson. We have Porter Jr. and Hunter. We have Sexton and I can't pronounce it. Ochai Agbaji, however the hell you pronounce it, and Henderson and Saban Lee. Yeah, where did who was our backup point guard? I forget his fucking name. I forget who it was. I'm horrible with names, you guys know that. But let's look at the power forwards here, potentially an option for like maybe a 1 or a 2 year deal. Maybe somebody like Grant Williams could fit this team well. I'm a huge Grant Williams fan. You all know that. And, it's Jared Butler. That's who it was. It's a backup point guard spot. I'm fine with it. All right, welcome to the team. We're just going to let everybody go pretty much at this point. Grant Williams going to come in here on a 2-year deal. New 10-man rotation. I'm excited to see how this team kind of meshes together. I'll see you guys with the rotation at the start of year 2. This is obviously still not a very good team, but we made a lot of moves in the offseason, and I think the team definitely got better. I'm super excited to see what both Scooter Henderson and Gregory Jackson can do. I'm hoping that Sexton and Porter Jr. kind of both take that next step, and then hopefully Jared Allen continues to be our best player, anchor down that center spot. Here's how it's going to work. It's Scoot Henderson, Colin Sexton, Michael Porter Jr., Gregory Jackson, and Jared Allen. Pretty interesting starting 5. Bench is actually pretty good. It's going to be DeAndre Hunter, Grant Williams, Chai Abgaje, Saban Lee, and Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler goes from playing like 30-plus minutes a night as a starting center to getting 10 minutes a night as our 10th and final man. And reason for that is a couple things. 1, he's the lowest overall, and 2, the highest overall on the team is Jared Allen, our starting center. So makes sense, kind of. I will see you guys at the end of year 2. I do not think this is a playoff or even a play-in team, but who knows? I've had weird things happen before. I have no idea how. I have seen some bad teams actually win a decent amount of games before. This team might be at the top of the list. This team went 50-32. This team is nowhere near a 50-win team. I've also had teams on the other side of that I'm like, this is a 60-plus win team, and they win 45 games. It makes no sense. 2K is putting me through the ringer lately. Oh, good. Luke had to up his game a little bit. He's almost at a 39-point triple-double now. Scoot Henderson wins Rookie of the Year for us, just under 20 points, 5.5 rebounds, 7 assists. Simmons, 6 men. Evan Mobley, Depoy, Anthony Edwards, holy hell, most improved. Nate McMillan, Coach of the Year. Honestly, it should have gone to Will Hardy. We are a 3 seed here in the West after being second worst team in the league last year. Definitely should have been Will Hardy. But 50-32, as I mentioned, crazy-ass record. I mean, it kind of helps when we have 3 teams winning 41 games. Oh, God. Take a look at the numbers, see how it was done. Points per game, led by Henderson. Wrong button. Scoot Henderson, then it was Colin Sexton, Jared Allen, absolute monster, 16.5 points, 12.5 boards, 3 assists. Beautiful. Gregory Jackson, MPJ, all right. I had pretty high hopes. Maybe he could kind of be a number 1, number 2 option here. It does not appear that he is kind of falling into that role. We may move on from him just because he has such a big contract this offseason. But as of now, we have a first-round matchup, a little dance here with the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Gary Trent Jr., Anthony Black, who I definitely could have drafted. How did he play in his rookie year? Pretty well. Keegan Murray, and then DeMontis Sabonis. This is a pretty good team. And this is a team that I think is probably going to be close to the play-in this year in real life. And I think a lot of people actually agree with that. Taking a look at the West. I don't really know how we just swept them, but we still did it. Denver Nuggets. We made a trade with them in the offseason. We picked up Michael Porter Jr. We sent them Jared Vanderbilt, and this is how their starting 5 is looking. They obviously have the best player in this series. How are we beating these teams? That was our first loss in the entirety of the playoffs. We are up 3-1 here, 3-2, 3-3, and we blow a 3-1 lead. I can almost feel when it's coming at this point. Like that's what she said. It's like I almost know when I'm gonna blow a lead. It's really weird. I don't know why it is. It just happens. Pelicans go on to win the finals. I will say, compared to other 2Ks since Zion got drafted, the Pelicans have not been as OP as they have been in previous 2Ks, which, good. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I will say on the flip side, there's been a lot of weird upsets when I'm up 3-0 or down 3-0 or up 3-1 or down 3-1. It's consistent. It happens at least once a video. It's really weird. You would think it happens every year in the NBA playoffs. Let's hit the draft lottery. I do not imagine we have a very high draft pick. I don't see a Jazz logo anywhere, so let's just send the lottery. It's the Thunder, the Heat, the Bulls, the Spurs. Thunder again. Will Hardy's not going anywhere. He helped coach this team to 50 wins when it was probably a 38-win team max, in my opinion. So I'm very much happy with the job he's been doing. We will see if we do have any draft picks at all. We do not have any picks this year. Honestly, fine by me. We have a pretty deep team anyways. So this is another really big offseason where we're probably going to be making some big trades. I think you all probably can see that Michael Porter Jr. is probably on his way out. Saban Lee's a free agent. We definitely don't have any money right now just because we do have Michael Porter Jr.'s contract. Free agency-wise, there's a decent amount of restricted free agents here. I think a guy like Jaylen Brown could low-key fit this team nice at that starting small forward spot. So, maybe we clear up that, $28 million that we have to maybe go out and sign him because he has 0 offers right now. So let's see if we can cook something up. We're going to be sending Michael Porter Jr. over to the Toronto Raptors for Cameron Whitmore and a second-round pick. Cameron Whitmore was the 19th overall pick in last year's draft. Actually came off a pretty solid rookie year, where he played pretty similarly to Michael Porter Jr., at least in the points department. So contract-wise, MPJ just wasn't the right fit. I think if he was on a better contract, we probably could have maybe kept him off the bench. Ultimately, I wanted to kind of save the money. I think at this point, we're definitely still a little bit over in terms of how much flexibility we have to maybe sign somebody. Oh, wait, no, we actually do have the money. I guess we do have the flexibility to sign Jaylen Brown. Will he want to come here? I have no idea. I mean, Okay, well, Jaylen Brown's officially a member of the Utah Jazz. I did not think that MPJ deal cleared out enough money, but I guess it did. And I'm happy to have Jaylen Brown here. He's going to be moving to the small forward spot. I'm going to move from secondary position to shooting guard, and I'll see you guys with whatever trade is next. Oh, we made a really big trade, and one that I gave up a lot, but we just got Tyrese Maxey here in Utah. I wasn't even looking really to trade Colin Sexton. I kind of just threw it around, and yeah, we just got Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, I think Colin Sexton played really well for us. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he didn't, but Tyrese Maxey, in my opinion, is a huge upgrade. So I'm excited to have him here. We obviously included DeAndre Hunter in that trade. We did trade for Cameron Whitmore, so he's more than good enough to back up Jaylen Brown. At this point in time, the only thing I need is a new backup point guard, and we are basically all set. I think Aaron Holiday would fit that mold quite nicely. Actually, do I want to bring back Saben Lee? You know what? I'll bring back Saben Lee. Saben Lee, he's been here through thick and thin. We're going to not bring in Aaron Holiday, and we'll bring back Saben Lee. I will now see you guys at the start of the third and final year. This team basically shocked all of us last season. We went 50-32. We were a 3 seed in the West when we really had no business being that high. We made a whole lot of moves this offseason. 2 really major moves. 1, trading for Tyrese Maxey. 2, signing Jaylen Brown. And they're 2 moves I'm really excited about. Here's how it's going to look for the final season. It's Scoot Henderson, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Gregory Jackson, and Jared Allen. The bench unit, Chai Gage, Grant Williams, Cameron Whitmore, Saben Lee, and Walker Kessler. I'm excited to see what this team can do. I'll see you guys at the end of the third and final season. I'm really happy to see 2K switching some things up. Although they gave Luka MVP, it wasn't a triple-double. No, I'm just kidding. Give somebody else MVP 2K. I didn't see our record. I'm not going to lie. I was watching TikTok while we were simming. Mikey Williams, Rookie of the Year for the Minnesota Timberwolves with the number 14 overall pick. Pretty cool to see. Jaden Ivey, 6th Man of the Year in Detroit. Evan Mobley, I believe that's his 2nd straight DPOY, also wins Most Improved. We go 64-18, and Will Hardy takes home Coach of the Year. I want a championship. And I want a championship now. I really, really do. This team started out in the absolute trenches. We turned some things around, made some big trades, made some big signings, and I'm ready to do it. Led in points by Scoot Henderson. That was Jaylen Brown, Jared Allen, Tyrese Maxey, Gregory Jackson. Excuse me, misspoke there a little bit. I almost said Gigi Jackson because I was used to him. I'm assuming that's a different person because I've seen Gigi Jackson before. Chai Gage, Cameron Whitmore, Grant Williams, Walker Kessler, and Saben Lee. Led in boards by Mr. Jared Allen, and assist was Henderson. All right, plan. Let's see what we got. It's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Mikey Williams, Kobe White, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels. They have Rudy Gobert coming off the bench. It's a bold move. Oh, I simmed the round. I did not mean to do that. Well, we are down 3-2, and I'd like to not lose in the first round. Wow, we come back down from a 3-1 lead. I'm telling you, it happens in every video multiple times. It's weird. Suns. Why, when I do a Suns rebuild, though, does Chris Paul retire in the first year? But he's still here going strong at age 39. Well, strong is a different term, man. Well, he's actually playing pretty well. I mean, it's pretty good. The duality of 2K. All right, we're up 1-0. We're up 2-0 here, 3-0, and we sweep the Phoenix Suns, who are arguably a better team than the Timberwolves. Oklahoma City. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, Tariq Whitehead, Ron Holland, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort. Obviously, really young team kind of forming themselves together. But I still think we're better. We're up 2-1 here right now. We 2-2. We go up 3-2, and we are in the NBA Finals, taking on Darius Garland and the Cleveland Cavaliers. We did take Jared Allen from them, so that's a pretty big piece of their front court. Obviously, they still have Evan Mobley and Garland and Mitchell, but I think taking away Jared Allen from them hopefully going to help us out in this video. We're up 3-0 right now. Please don't blow a 3-0 lead. We win a championship. Jared Allen, oh, how sweet it must feel. He wins Finals MVP, averaging 17.5 points, 5 offensive rebounds, 14 total rebounds, and 3.5 assists. When I started this video, and, I don't want to say maybe banked on the second offseason being where we really put on all the work. We obviously put in a lot of work in both off seasons, but that first off season we maybe didn't go as hard as we normally go with a bad team because I kind of wanted to see what kind of lined up for the second one. And I'm really happy with the outcome here today. So, ultimately, this was a really fun team. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like down below. That'd be absolutely great. Of course, as I mentioned, we're going to get into some more throwback rebuilds. Let me know which ones of those you want to see down below in the comment section. Other than that, Utah Jazz fans, I hope it made you happy. Please change your fucking uniforms. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Catch you guys all in the next one.